Okay. Stream is going, so that's all set. Now, so I don't think I'm going to have a YM. I may not have a YM trade this morning. I suppose S1, it's a possibility, right? If the market keeps going down, S1 is not a bad target as far as custom levels go. That would be a potential target, right? I don't love that trade. I don't love it, but it's a possibility. I think the VWAP is a more interesting trade, right? If the YM decides to change direction. But I did get it wrong yesterday. Maybe just trading in the trend makes the most sense this morning. Let it test S1 if it's going to. We can watch. We'll watch. And then MNQ, we'll put our reverse continue on the chart. .40 tick target and a 75 tick stop. That's our discretionary trade. Trade it in our market open funded account. MNQ, reverse continue. Going to put the chart in sim for a minute. So we have our reverse continue. We need our breakout. Click News Trader, and I'm going to load my template for the morning. So looking MNQ, new open. We're going to give it a date by renaming it. Today's the 23rd. When you load it, it also saves it. So we've got $929.59 on the trigger. $35 on the bracket. Targets of 30 and 100. Break even minus 10 if it hits the first target. And 125 on the stop. Going to put the time on 0 for a moment to just check the bracket. It's already labeled breakout MNQ open. Apply it and OK it. Spread the chart a little bit for the bracket.
Order submitted.
All right.
Order
There's our
canceled.
bracket. That looks good. Put the time back to 9:29:59. 35 bracket. Targets of 30 and 100. Stop of 125. BE minus 10 on the target one stop move. Trading it in the market open account. Same account as I accidentally did oil in. And I'm also setting up a magnet in the same account for signals. If we hit the high or the low and do a pullback off of it, I'm interested in taking that trade. So after the breakout is over, if we get magnet signals, I may very well be interested. So I'm going to set up the new magnet. I'm going to make sure the first thing I'm going to do is label it. MNQ, same account. So I'm setting it up as a high of day, low of day. Proximity right now is on 3. A couple of contracts. Now I believe when we do it this way, if you're going to trade it just for signals, I have to figure something out that I'm not sure about. I'm using a 100 stop. The question becomes, what are you targeting? If you're taking just signals, you're targeting ticks, okay? You're targeting ticks. You're not targeting a high of day or a low of day. So the target, in my opinion, I need to see something. Right now I'm going to leave it at -3, but I think I have to think about something else. So right now it's a normal default first target. High of day, low of day, proximity is 3. Target is -3. Stop is 100. All right. What I'm looking for is signals. But actually, after our breakout is done, I think the odds are probably good that maybe we'll test the low again as opposed to the high. Right now, we have a fill, potential fill. I'm going to leave that alive. I don't think we're going to get to the high. It's roughly 5 points away from the high. And on the bottom, similar. It's about 5 points away. It's not very much. Let's give it a little more profit if it goes there. Right now, I'm just watching the magnet, right? I'm not trading the magnet, so don't get confused. I'm not trading the magnet. I'm watching it for signals. So really, the concept is, the interesting thing today is it could be a normal magnet because it's in between the highs and the lows. Normally, I would turn off the high of day, low of day, and just have it off for signals only. But depending what happens on the breakout, it might still be a normal magnet before the signals. So I'm going to leave it alone at the moment. I'm going to leave it alone. First thing that's going to happen is we're going to get our breakout at 9:30. It might be this morning that the magnet is the better trade than the breakout because I do think it's going to go test the low. Now it may test the low at 9:25. If it starts shooting down at 9:25, I could turn it on
According to
and let
sources,
it
the Trump
trade it.
administration pushes out a US official whose unit banned Chinese vehicles.
Good morning there, Graybeard. Graybeard, why are you the only human in the world that comes to our live stream? Why does nobody come to our live stream? I mean, no one. What failure have I done? Actually, there are some people here, so say hello. if you're here. Identify yourself on YouTube, please. Say hello. Now, you can't put the magnet on if it's going to interfere with the breakout. So you have to make a decision to do one or the other. Since the breakout's been pretty much working almost every morning, I've got to let the breakout trade. Okay, David, thanks for saying hello. Appreciate that. All right, another real person. Let's get our YouTube people saying hello. No reason not to. I'll tell you, folks, I'm so happy it's Friday. This has been the most difficult week, the most difficult 2 weeks I can remember since I've worked here. The great thing about trading, one of the reasons I love trading, every morning, at least for me, I wake up every morning, it's a new day, ready to go. All the bad trades are behind us. And frankly, yesterday, the day ended on an awesome earnings trade. Awesome. We hit both our targets on Intel and made it was like a $500 trade. Yes, David, hit the like button. What's not to like? What's not to like? Um, that's interesting. Graybeard, I spend an unbelievable amount of time on YouTube, very honestly. That's the first I'm hearing that YouTube is giving more airtime to shorts. There aren't really, I guess there are channels that only do shorts, I guess, right? I don't watch any of those. I'm more of a long form YouTube watcher. I spend a lot of time watching YouTube videos. And I follow a lot of different people. But I'm not that interested. I wouldn't be that interested in a channel that just had a bunch of shorts. I like shorts occasionally if I'm just, scrolling and killing half an hour and, just looking at different platforms. But otherwise, I'm looking for information, for tech updates, reviews, news. So I'm looking more long form generally. And if I want shorts, I have people I follow on TikTok and Instagram that I love, that I like a lot. The biggest frustration that I have in watching, and I don't know if I'm a complete idiot. I might be a complete technological idiot, but so many times it's a TikTok or an Instagram video, and it only has part of the story, and I can never find the part two or the part three, the part four. I can't ever find them. Am I alone there, or is it the system that just doesn't work? I can't find the extra pieces. Sometimes I can. I mean, scroll left and there's a bunch of videos, but it's not well identified where part two is on many, many videos. It's unbelievably frustrating, and I think it's me, but I don't honestly know what I'm doing wrong. Does anyone else understand what I'm saying? Like I follow Jeff. Um, he's a sports writer and he's great. I can't remember his last name now. Great sports writer. And a lot of times he'll have a short, but there will be a part two or a part three, and I can never find part two and part three. Or just be a regular person that's, posting something that's moderately interesting. Maybe they have a story about they just bought a car and it's been a disaster. Never can find part two. Never. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And that's particularly TikTok and Instagram that it happens. So this 925 move, hopefully we'll do some more testing on it this weekend. This morning, clearly it was a long. YouTube, they're so stupid and so ignorant. All these companies are so stupid and ignorant. YouTube has something phenomenal. I mean, really, it's one of the best educational systems in the world. There's amazing stuff on YouTube if you know where to find it for real.
1 minute now until we
Tremendous
get the market on
education.
open imbalance.
Tremendous. Um, and they don't value their creators. Creators are constantly moaning and groaning about how poorly they're treated, about YouTube doesn't police the comments for bots and scams, and they don't. It's disgraceful. It's absolutely disgraceful. It's just the way things are these days. No one gives a shit about anything except money. That's the problem. David, I'll try that. I'll try that. So it looks like we're getting a test
Order
of the VU
submitted.
up.
Order submitted.
Now, I did
Markets on
want
open
Order
a
imbalance.
short
filled.
S&P
fill.
500, sell
Order
side
filled.
44 million, Nasdaq 100,
So that
buy
was a
side 24
target
million,
one
Dow 30,
quick
sell side
reversal,
43 million,
folks.
Mag 7,
Turning
the buy
off my
side of
breakout.
27 million.
It hit the first target and then it stopped, okay? So it was a small profit, not big, but it worked. Now I'll just put the magnet on. If it makes a new high, I'll trade the new high on the MNQ. The YM, it's not going down, I don't think. Although, no, I can't really say that. It might test the S1. I'm not positive. We have a 945 flash trade. So I may be done with the open right now, folks, because we have a 945. Now, if the YM would shoot down and hit S1 real quick, I'd let it do it. It's negative. The trend is negative. The signal's in our favor. The concern is that it fills and doesn't follow through, right? That's always a concern. But the trade is there. I'm going to take it if it does it. But it's possible that it won't follow through to the S1. It's possible. It's a risk I'm willing to take. It may not give me the choice. Okay, right now the signal's in my favor. The NQ is just the VWAP was the trade. The VWAP was the trade. Okay. Now I'm turning off my MNQ because we have a real trade. So my breakout MNQ is gone. The MNQ magnet, I'm leaving it alone. And honestly, I'm turning off the YM. I'm not trading the
Intel
YM
shares
at the
fall
moment. All
14%
right.
on the open here after the company forecast Q1 revenue
So
and profit below
we have a
estimates in
setup.
their
We
earnings
have
report last
flash
night.
manufacturing. And let's talk for a quick moment about how flash manufacturing is a lousy trade. All right. It has not been working. And we have a trap trade, which is risky.
Nvidia rising 2.6%, leading the Magnificent Seven names.
Now, if the MNQ wants to create a new low here, I'm tempted, I want to take that if it wants to make a new low. But we have to either pay attention to the trade or forget it, right? So Flash, let me give everybody a heads up here on Flash. This is a trade that hasn't worked forever, all right? It just hasn't worked. That's the reality. We have a trap trade.
According to a
RTY was
poll,
no
the
fill in
Bank of
December,
Canada
a
will
stop
hold
in
rates through
October.
this year, according to 26 of 35
MNQ, we don't
economists.
really have good testing on
So
it.
the poll says
So it's
Canada's economy
either
is to grow 1.2% and
either we
1.8%
trade
in 2026 and
a
27
gold
respectively,
trap, which
after
is
rising 1.7%
always
last year.
risky, right? $30 and $50 on the tiers. So going over to gold, going over to gold. Now we're not at new highs, we're not at new lows. I'm going to trade what our DMM says to trade, and I'll trade it in an eval, okay? I'll trade it in an eval. So we have a trap trade for gold. We're going to trigger at 944.55, and we have a stop of 25. Tier 1 is 30. Tier 2 is 50. Labeling it GC trap, all right? And I'll trade it in 35, which is the prop account we started using yesterday.
So in 10 minutes time now at
So let me go over it
9:45
again.
a.m. Eastern
Position
time,
size 1
get
is
the
a 1.
US S&P
Position
flash
size 2
reads
is a
for
1.
January.
Trigger
So
the
the
trade at
services PMI forecast
944.55
52.9
with
on
a
the prior
stop of 25.
52.5.
Tier 1 is 30. Tier 2 is
The
50.
range is 54 to 52.5. The
That's my trap
manufacturing
trade.
forecast is
All right.
52 on the prior 51.8, with a range of 52.7 to 48.1, and the
I'm
composite
also going to
PMI
put a
forecast
reverse
53 on the
continue
prior
on the chart.
52.7.
Add a strategy. Gold reverse continue. One position. 30 target. 30 stop.
UK 10-year yields are set for their biggest weekly jump since April, up 12 basis points now.
Same account. That's a discretionary trade. Label it GC reverse continue. And then what might be an interesting second trade? Our testing, it's not very good. I mean, the reality is our testing, we don't have anything. We do have revised University of Michigan at 10 o'clock. All right. So after this trade, we're going to zip over to U of Mich. I prefer the NQ or MNQ to the YM on this particular event. All right. So we've got our gold setup. Gold, once again, is super bullish. It's super freaking bullish. I may not allow gold to fill us short, okay? I may not allow gold to fill us short on the trap. All right? How will I stop it? I will move the orders out of the way. Okay? I'll move the orders out of the way. I'm going to add to the trap trade going forward a direction command. We never put it in the trap trade. It's something we never did. Markets are very different now. NQ or MNQ for after the news, not for before the news, not for before the news. All right? First things first, a reverse continue. Regular NQ, just putting one position, target of 50, stop of 40. All right. Reverse continue. Label it NQ reverse continue. What account to trade it in? I think I'll just keep trading. I'll trade it in a new prop account, 36. All right. Apply it. Okay it. Make sure it's on the right account. Make sure this is on the right account. We said 35. Okay, so NQ reverse continue. We have a lot of levels, a lot of levels. If you want to put a magnet on for after the news, okay? For after the news. Gonna label it magnet MNQ or NQ magnet. All right, NQ. Gonna trade it in the same prop account. What are we looking for? So I'm looking for, it's a little bit close to the low, so I'd like to see the NQ go up before the news. All right. High of day, low of day, but it's a little bit tight. High of day, low of day. Two positions. The first one default at -3. The second one 20 ticks through the magnet. All right, that would be a 20. Position 2 is a 1. Position 1 is a 1. Target 1 offset is -3.
So in 5 minutes time
Target
now at
2 offset
9:45
is
a.m.
20.
Eastern time, we get the US
Stop is 40.
PMI, S&P PMI,
All right.
January prelim numbers coming through. So manufacturing PMI forecast 52
High of
on
day,
the prior
low of
51
day.
spot 8 with a range of 52.7 to 48.1.
Proximity
Services
is 3.
forecast 52.9
Apply it,
on the prior
okay it.
52.5
When you turn it
with a range of
on,
54 to 52.5
your
and
order
composite
entries
forecast
are going to
53
show
on the
up.
prior
All right.
52.7.
My order entry is at around 50. All right. So there's a fair amount of profit. Same thing if it goes high. My fill on the top end is around 20-ish, 720. My fill on the bottom end, and you can hover over the target button, magnet entry, and we've fixed the magnet entry button so everything is correct. Sell gold at 5,000. I agree with that as a scalp, for a scalp. So right now we've got a nice amount of room for the NQ magnet. All right. So I'm putting it in auto because this is not a trade usually that's going to explode through the roof and fill us at the exact moment of the news. My feeling is the news will come out and it will trend up or down. And we should be far enough away right now so that wherever it trends, we'll either make a new high or a new low. I'm tempted to trade it in my NQ open account just because I never take good trades in that account. I'm always just struggling with micros. I like this setup. Do I want to risk blowing up that account? I don't think it's going to blow it up. It's time to give it a real shot. And then I need to change my reverse continue to the same account. And just change my order entry on the magnet. Let's see if it is a good or a bad decision. So we have nice amounts of profit if the magnet gets to where we want it to go. And obviously a reverse continue is always discretionary. You don't have to take it. Those darn buttons. My short is approximately 549-ish. All right. And my long is 721-ish.
1 minute remaining. I'll lead with the US S&P manufacturing PMI.
And also we have a trap. I don't want to be short on the trap. If I outthink it and I'm wrong, the worst that happens there is I just don't get filled. I'd rather be wrong and not get filled, right? Rather be wrong and not get filled than be wrong and get stopped.
Ten seconds.
Gold 5,000.
Order submitted.
Why? What's wrong with that account? So something's wrong with an account that
51
I
spot
thought was a
9,
good
51
account.
spot 9 lower
Oh,
than
it's me,
forecast
you
at
guys.
52. Services
I
52 spot
goofed.
5, 52
I
spot
goofed.
5 lower than forecast 52 spot 9.
Okay, I
And
can't
composite
trade
52 spot 8, 52 spot 8 lower than
35.
forecast at
My
53.
mistake. That's an account. Look, there was no move anyway. There was no move. That would probably be a cancel because it's moving up and I don't want to be short gold. So I would not take a short trap, all right? This morning. I would not. I would not. It's not a very big move. It's getting bigger. 20 ticks or so. It still would not have filled. And now I would probably cancel. It's 1 minute. All right. It's 1 minute. And not a great move. You need a big move to reverse if you're going to take a reversal. And what we've been seeing on this report is these smaller moves. Now it's starting to push up. And I'm not taking a reversal here. So I don't
Looking into the report
recommend the
then,
trap.
Chief Economist at S&P,
I think if
Williamson,
anything
notes that
happens
the
here,
flash PMI brought
gold's
news of
going to
sustained
test the
economic
high.
growth at the start of the year, but
I'm
there are
getting
further
rid of the
signs
trap.
that the rate expansion has cooled over the turn of the
The
new
reverse
year compared to the
continue.
hotter pace
I
indicated
need
back
to
in the fall.
change the account
They say that the survey is
because I
signaling
tried to trade
annualized
it in an
GDP growth of
account that's
1.5%
damaged.
for both December and January, and a
I would not have
worryingly
let that
subdued
fill
rate of new
anyway.
business growth across manufacturing
Apply
and
it.
services
Okay.
adds further
So
to
our
signs
reverse
that first
continue
quarter
on
growth
gold is still
could
active.
disappoint.
I don't really have an NQ trade here. I don't think it's the right trade. We're not getting a big response for the news. We're just getting NQ chop at the moment. So I'm turning off the NQ magnet at the moment, putting it on. It can stay where it is. Obviously, my temptation is if it does start to get momentum to the downside, and we have a signal now, there is a possibility it's going to test that low. All right, that is a possibility. On gold, our next trade, we have another trade. 10 o'clock. Another lousy one. All right, not a very good performing trade. Revise University of Michigan, and here's the crazy part about it. This has been a dull report generally, but all of a sudden, the last three have averaged over 50 ticks of gold movement, but not as a breakout, as a trap, as a trap. The YM setup is mediocre, mediocre, all right? It's mediocre. Now it's revised, Nitin. Preliminary is a better mover. Preliminary is a better mover. But I'm going to stay with NQ and the magnet. And then on gold, I do believe gold's going to test the high. I think it's a random trade to take a long
Order
here on
submitted.
gold. Is gold going to get to the high? I'm just looking for a quick scalp before the news. That's all I'm looking for. And I may close it real quick because I have to set up for the news. So if it gives me like $100, I'll take it, or a couple of ticks. And then I'm going to set up for the news with another trap. But it's got a very big set of tiers. The trap,
It's been 10 minutes time now at the
now I'm
top
in
of
the
the hour
prop
with the
account, so
University
whatever
of
happens,
Michigan
happens
January
here. I'm not
final
going to
sentiment
cry if
survey.
it doesn't work.
So the sentiment
It
final
just
forecast
may be that we
54
have to
on the
wait
prior
for the
54 with
news
a
to
range
come
of
Order
out.
55
filled.
to 53 spot
So
5.
gotta wait for the
1 year
news to
inflation
come out.
forecast 4 spot 2% from the prior
I've
4
got a
spot 2.
trap
5 year forecast 3 spot 4% on the prior 3 spot 4.
959.55,
Expectations forecast 55 unchanged from the prior, and
959.55.
conditions forecast 52 spot 3 from 52 spot 4.
GC trap. I don't want to short. I don't want to short on gold. So I will only trade it long. Tiers. I'm going to use tiers of 40 and 65 because it's really been moving on this report. 40 and 65. Same account that I'm trading in. It's a valuation prop account. Position 1 is a 1. Position 2 is a 1. Triggering at 959.55. 25 stop. Tier 1 is 40. Tier 2 is 65. That's my gold trap. All right? That's my gold trap. If you want to see where those orders are going to line up, you can set a trap trade at 0 time. It's pretty big tiers, so I don't think we're going to get filled just looking.
Order
All
submitted.
right.
Order
I
canceled.
still just want to be long on gold. I'm absolutely positive gold's going to work to the long side. But I guess we're going to have to wait for the trade. 959.55. Tiers 40 and 65. All right. Now the NQ, it looks like nothing's going to happen until the trade. We have a few minutes. I'm just doing a magnet. If I were going to do anything else on the NQ, Obviously I have a reverse continue, 40 tick target, 40 tick stop, full size NQ, 75 stop to 100 on the MNQ. But if you're doing a magnet, do a high of day, low of day magnet. My sell is around 549. My buy is around 721. All right. And you could do one or two positions. If you do one position, default target -3, right? Default target -3. Target position 2, I would make it 20 ticks. So that if it goes through the low of the day on the news, your second target is 20 ticks beyond the low. If it makes a high on the news, 20 ticks beyond the high is your second target. Your first target is 3 ticks before it gets to the high. Does everybody understand the NQ? I think gold's going to make a new high after this report. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Interestingly, the flash manufacturing news was all negative. Was all negative. And it didn't affect the market very much.
It's been 5 minutes time now. At the top of the hour, get the
It
University
just did
of
not affect the
Michigan,
market.
a January final sentiment survey. Sentiment forecast 54, unchanged from the prior, with a range of 55 to 53.5. 1-year inflation forecast 4.2% on the prior 4.2.
Now, University of
5-year
Michigan
inflation
has
forecast to remain unchanged at
two elements
3.4%. The conditions final
that are
forecast
considered
52.3
important.
from
It
at
has
52.4, and expectations forecast to remain
an
unchanged at
inflation element
55. We also do get the US leading index data. So we get the headline number, which will be released on the
and a
calendar. That's for
consumer sentiment
November.
element.
So with a forecast of minus 0.2%. With this, though, at least at the same time, we'll get the release of the October leading index as well.
All right. Looks like the MNQ wants to go to the high. No surprise. These markets are on steroids. So let's see if there's a burst on this news. All right. Thanks everyone on YouTube for chipping in. Love the chat. Let me make sure I'm on the right accounts here. NQ should be 54. And we should be 36 on our gold trap. All right. Don't forget on the trap trade, you need to be able to see the cancel button at the top of your trap chart. Cancel. That's if the outer tier gets filled. Now, I am probably not going to allow a short fill on the gold trade. So what does that mean? I'm going to move my upper orders away. I'm going to move my upper orders out of the way. Now, interestingly enough, gold is moving up and down, so maybe it might make sense today to just let it trade. My gut feeling is it's going to trade long. I would prefer if it fills long.
One minute remaining. I'll lead with the University of Michigan sentiment final.
Maybe we're getting a VWAP gold test. It's very possible. Since there's been such a pullback, that gold is actually showing that it can do this kind of a pullback, I may let it fill. I may just let the trade do what
10
it's going to
seconds.
do. I'd prefer a long fill though.
Order submitted.
56 spot 4,
Okay,
56
the news
spot
is
4,
out.
that's higher than forecast at 54. 1
Looks
year
like it
inflation at
wants to fill
4%,
short.
4%, that's lower than forecast, 4 spot 2%. 5 year at 3 spot 3%, 3 spot 3, lower than forecast at 3 spot
Okay, if it
4%.
fills me
Expectations at
long,
57,
I will let
57,
it.
higher than forecast 55, and
I will
conditions at
let it.
55 spot
Order
4,
canceled.
55 spot
Okay,
4,
it's filled
which is
me
higher than
long,
forecast 52 spot 3.
and now I'm going to
There's
move
some
my
strength coming
first
through in
order
the S&P
somewhat
500 here
down.
following that data.
I'm not
S&P
ready
now
to.
flat
I'm
on the session. As
canceling
again, we
my
did
outer
see the
Order
tier,
sentiment
canceled. Order
headline,
and
canceled.
I
as well as
couldn't expand
expectations
my
and
target
conditions came in
fast
higher than
enough.
expected,
We
while the
made
inflation
about
expectations numbers
$500
came in lower than expected.
on that trade. That was a quick. We were negative on that trade. I don't remember how much I was negative on that trade. That might have been a $330 trade. That's what it was. $330. Very fast. I tried to. You can't
My
do
conference
everything
board
so
was slated
fast.
to release the leading index
I was
change at the
interested in
top of the
moving
hour as well. No sign of that
making my
number yet,
target
however.
bigger.
I'll keep you posted if it comes through.
The news is mixed. So you've got 5-year inflation expectations lower than expected, which is incomprehensibly not possible to believe. And then the yearly inflation expectations are also lower, impossible to believe. And then the consumer data is positive, which is also impossible to believe. However, the Michigan report is not government controlled, so I have to believe this data. All right? I believe the data.
We have posted the University of Michigan
Doesn't really
sentiment
matter.
survey January final
As long as
report
we
on the
get
feed for
data
those
that moves a
interested.
market, that's all we really care about. So we've got a gold reverse continue now. Our trap worked beautifully. And gold is pretty far from the high, so I'm not going to take. Hey, that was a $540 trade because we were down 330. All right? 570. That was a $570 winner. Now, I still do think gold is far from the high, but I think it's going to get there. So the question is, do you want a gold magnet? High of day, low of day. It's easy to put on. High of day, low of day. One position. How much are you willing to risk? 40 tick stop. Okay. What account are you willing to trade it in? I'm going to let the NQ fill if it wants to test the new high. gold magnet, apply it, okay it. When you turn it on, you get your orders, okay? No interest whatsoever in a short gold, but it's not going there. We're not going down to the short. That would be almost impossible to believe. There's been a good gold VWAP signal, all right? You have a good gold VWAP signal. It's a pretty big stop, though.
Nasdaq turns
It's
higher, last
80,
stop, spot 2%.
80 ticks. It's an 80 tick stop. So I'm not really doing anything on gold at the moment. I'm going to watch for a few minutes. Our NQ might fill. So that trap trade turned a negative morning into a positive morning. And what do you think? I think it's a good possibility the NQ fills and tests the high. I think it's possible. I'd like to see a little more momentum right now. I think it's going to fill. There's risk. You never know for sure, obviously. The gold signal was good. That was a good gold signal. For me, it was just a little bit too much risk for the stop because the stop, it really needs to be under the VWAP now. Now you're in the middle of the high and the low. There's a lot of risk on the stop. You almost need a random stop rather than a structure stop because the structure stops are too big. It's a lot of risk. $1,000 on one contract, right? That's most people don't want to take that much risk in one trade. So I'm just watching to see if we get that fill on the NQ. It didn't test the high. All right, so there's not going to be a signal. Now I would not want to go long because it's signaling against a long. But now you might get that partial pullback and then a stronger burst to the upside. Sometimes we see that happen where you get a fake out, right? You get a fake out. Now, gold on that signal.
So Chinese and Russian vice foreign ministers held talks in Beijing today.
I never take the best fill when I'm trying to show what might have happened. Gold had approximately 35 ticks of potential profit after that signal was generated. That was a VWAP signal. It
Italy's
tested
PM
the
Maloney
VWAP,
says our willingness to
and one of
cooperate with
our
the US remains
signals
firm.
is reverse off the VWAP. Give me a signal to go to take a reversal off the VWAP. It didn't follow through all that much. 35 ticks is nothing to sneeze at with gold. Nothing to squeeze at. That's funny. Right? 35 ticks is a $350 trade. If you've got the stomach for it, you can take a long on gold here with a stop below the previous open. It's about 75 ticks. You know, in a prop account, I hate to use who cares, right? But who cares? It's an eval. What's the worst that happens? $39 to reset it. Do you want to risk 800 for a test of the high? 800 for a very, very fat trade? Is it? Am I thinking properly? Do I have the right? It's a $1,500 stop. That's a pretty big stop. So you could take your long here
Order submitted.
and put your stop under the structure. That's what you could do. You could trade micros too. You could trade micro gold. You don't have to trade um, full size gold, right? Prop accounts are educational. They are they a scam? That's really a big question. Are they a scam? Because you know how much money these prop account companies are making? Can you imagine? I don't think you can imagine. I don't think you can imagine. That's the truth. You cannot imagine. It's significant. Now, it seems to me that my scalping over the past month has been literally every time I get into a scalp, the market goes against me, almost every single time. That's been my scalping. I do believe that we're going to test the high, but it may break my back before it does it. Now, the NQ, I'm not going to take that in my funded account. I just don't think the possibility is as good as it was when it was bursting up. All right. It may test it, but it's going to test it without me. I just don't think the possibilities are great. I think, again, it is going to test it, but I think there's a lot of risk there. I like that kind of
The
candle
conference board now
formation
saying that the leading
for a
index
long.
change has been delayed due to a network outage. So again, that data was due at 10 a.m. alongside the University of Michigan data. Again, conference board now confirming the data is delayed due to a technical outage.
So the NQ is kind of, you know, I'm not going to trade the NQ for that high anymore. We can watch it. We can watch it. Um, normally we wouldn't even be here anymore. I'm going to stay until I'm done with gold. Obviously, everybody's welcome to stay, of course. Any CapCut users out there? Anybody use CapCut? I have tried and tried to use free CapCut, um, Pro CapCut. I've never seen a product with more bugs. It just never works without a problem. Never. Can't ever get it working properly. I'm just wondering, is anybody using CapCut? I love its features. Um, I love it for like captions, but half, three-quarters of the time the captions don't load or work properly. Just product is a mess. It's a mess. I love the fact that it's easy to use, but what a mess. I can't get it working properly. Never heard of it? No. There's a whole slew of new, I wouldn't call it, it does a lot of AI now, um, but it's been around before AI became so popular. But there's a slew of so many new AI video editors and stuff. I just want to improve our weekly videos. Our weekly videos are a bore. They're just a bore. Graybeard, the problem is it just is defective. The product's completely defective. It stopped working with music online. You can't add music files. It doesn't export with the music anymore. It's not so much using it, it's the fact that it's so full of bugs now. Something happened. You can add music most of the time. It doesn't export with the music included in the export file. And when you try to load a video with captions, it gets to 97% and then it says it can't recognize it. It's the most frustrating. And the problem is it's a fantastic product to use. It's so easy. And it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work for me. And I don't believe it's me. I've tried it on multiple computers, so it's not my computer. It's the product. And it's the same thing on the free online version or the paid desktop version. It makes no difference. So the question now, is the NQ, do we have enough momentum? Right now, I don't even have a bullish signal. And gold is going to stop on this trade, on this prop trade. Again, remember, where's the
Order
stop
filled.
really have to be? Below here. Below here. Below here. So I'm gonna wait on gold. I'm gonna make that money back when it tests the high. I'll have to wait until it gets closer. That's all. I have to wait till it gets closer. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. I'll see everybody next week. Thanks on YouTube. Thanks, everybody. Whatever update they did to it, Gray, it stopped working. It basically just broke the program, unfortunately. Okay, everybody, have a great weekend. And YouTube, I'm going to end the stream. I'll see everybody next week on YouTube.